with this webinar. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. My name is Alan. I'm going to introduce to the team that we will be doing this webinar. Here with me is Daniel H. Rebel. He's our sales account manager in Texas area. And also Alma Olmos. He's our data scientist that he will be doing this proof of concept for this forecasting model with Qlik Sense Python. So thank you so much for being here. First one is about business, all the benefits that we're going to have with these kind of solutions, and the second part with the technical stuff with Alma. So I wanted to mention that also we have post COVID dashboard for coronavirus. Alma, if you can present the next slide, please. You're welcome to visit us. We have built this with some predictive scenarios for cases and deaths for every county in the US. So it will be really helpful for us. If you can visit the site, it's really cool, the design for mobile and desktop. You can navigate and find the information in our social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, in Evo Analytics. And well, let us introduce. Next slide, please, Alma. And well, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Alan Rodriguez. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer in Guadalajara. We are a company that is based in Mexico, born in Mexico, but we have sales offices in California and in Texas. We have more than 10 years working with BI solutions. And well, again, here with me is Alma Olmos. She's data scientist, have more than 5 years in the industry, and Daniel Hickbrow, account manager in the US. I'm going to give the word to Daniel. He's going to explain us a little bit about all the benefits that we can get with this kind of solution of predictive forecasting. Go ahead, Daniel.
All right, hey, Alan, thank you so much. And everyone, I appreciate all of y'all being on here. And one thing we're going to do, if you can just stay on mute on this webinar, and if you have any questions or anything like that, just feel free to go through the chat, and we'll try to answer all of them. But if we don't get to them, what we'll do is if you put your email on there, we'll send you a reply and an email with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the business side and a lot of the benefits that we can use through Qlik. So here we go. And just a little bit about us. At Evo Analytics, we've been in business for over like 10 years. And what we specialize in, what we've been doing is building analytical platforms and doing services and going through experiences that transform the way your company uses data, right? And one thing, we're partnered with some of the best technologies for business intelligence and data science solutions that are used nowadays. And what we do is we work as a nearshore scheme. So we have offices here in the U.S. and we have offices in Mexico. So the great benefit of working with Vivo Analytics is that our nearshore program, we're typically on the same time zone. So we can work directly and very easily with any company around the U.S. So that's a little bit about us. And some of the stuff that we've been doing, it's about 10 years doing this nearshore projects. And some of the stuff that we've done is we're able to solve like immediate requirements pretty much with our developers, and also build long-term relationships with any of our analytic strategies that are just created for you and any of the other companies that we deal with here in the U.S. And some of the stuff that we do, we have some of our consultants that actually go and are at the actual facility, and they can travel back and forth, so they can go back to Mexico and go back to the offices that we work with here in the U.S. So that's pretty much some of the good stuff that we do with our nearshore experience. And going through that, I'm gonna go real quick through some of the services that we offer here at Evo Analytics. So it's gonna be your business analytics, your advanced analytics, your data culture. Another thing is the platforms and the products, and dealing with your data architecture and custom solutions. So we have a vast amount of services that we can offer through Evo Analytics, through all these platforms. And we've dealt with Fortune 500 companies. We've dealt with mid-sized companies. So we can work with pretty much any industry and any type of size of industry or company. And so the question I'm going to ask is, how do you make anticipated business decisions? And that is where this forecasting and data analytics comes into place. So like nowadays, it's necessary to have enough tools that allow us to know in detail not only the history of our business, but also the possible behaviors in the future. And through this, it's possible to reduce the level of uncertainty in different scenarios and optimize our resources or anticipate the occurrence of various risks. So there's a ton of benefits of using data analytics and for forecasting and looking into the future. And by having the forecast on business indicators, what it does, it increases efficiency in different areas, such as sales, your cost projections, your cash flow projections, inventory level optimizations using like sales projections, production capacity projections, market participation projections, and also like the maintenance planning based on resource usages projections. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you can do, and there's a ton of benefits. And that's the next slide. So what are the benefits for your business through this type of stuff? I mean, let's say, for example, you have an estimate of sales at the product level based on trends, timing, and possible external events that may affect your sales. So being able to look into that and seeing how it's going to affect your sales, I mean, it's an advantage to you as a business to be able to get and to see the data that's ahead of you. Say, for example, you plan your production according to what you're really going to sell. So you can have an actual plan in regards to the product and that you're going to be selling. So it pretty much allows you to prepare for the future, so you can like forecast what's going to be happening. And not only that, it reduces unnecessary costs and expenses. So one thing that we're going to show here in a little bit on more of the technical side, we'll show an example using these platforms and how it can help you to do the forecasting. Not only that, it allows you to plan your financial movements of income and expenses that you're going to have in order to optimize your profits or reinvest them into new scenarios and businesses. Another benefit, it's finding what external factors influence your business. So you could see what other companies and any of the other influences that are out there, how it's going to affect your business and how it's going to help you out. Another benefit is it allows you to plan preventative maintenance on your production equipment to avoid production stoppages. So you can pretty much predict before anything goes wrong so that you can fix it before it even happens. And that way your production will not stop and you can keep going. So a solution that we've adapted for your business, here's some of the solutions. So the first step that we take with your company to use artificial intelligence, and not only to continue with traditional statistical methods, we also facilitate the adoption of current data science methods in your business. We also reduce the efforts of development and implementation of a traditional data science project. And also we enable your business users to have advanced analytic methods. And we also leverage your current investment in QlikView and Qlik Sense infrastructure by integrating the advanced analysis functions. And also we generate a short-term ROI. So using Qlik Sense, and this tool is amazing. So we're able to do a lot of adapted stuff for your business and to help you to like the previous slide was on, increase sales to like make sure stuff's not breaking down before it breaks down, and just different stuff. There's so much that can be done with that. And some of our success stories, I mean, we've been in business for over 10 years and working with some very large industries, pretty much like the banking, the retail, pharmaceutical, marketing companies, loyalty generation, insurance, credit card type companies. I mean, developed projects that we've done. I mean, we've done internal project management, and the list goes on. I mean, we've used different platforms that we're specialized in is Qlik dashboards, Tableau, RapidMiner, Python, and we can adapt. So any other platforms that are out there, we're able to adapt and get those out. So the business side, and there's so much that can be done using all these platforms to benefit your business. And so BI made simple, right? So Evo, we specialize in data discovery and analytic projects. We make sense of your data using a disruptive and consulting methodology that combines elements of design plus user experience with technical platforms for informative management. One thing is we focus on delivering business-friendly analytic applications to ensure that each person receives information that is truly relevant to their role. So we make it very simple and very easy for everyone to utilize and to see, and very focal friendly, like to where you can actually like see it, and it's very easy. And I mean, our main goal is to create with each client an innovative analytic environment that encourages them to, first of all, improve their revenue. Second of all, reduce your cost. And third of all, to minimize your risk. And one thing is, that's just kind of the business side. So I'm going to pass it over, and we're going to go a little bit through the technical side and go through some examples that we can use. So one thing, I'll pass it over to one of our top data scientists, and that is Alma. Are you there, Alma?
Yes, I am. Hi. Thank you. Okay. Hey, everyone. My name is Alma Olmos, and I'm part of the data science team at Vivo Analytics. If through the course of the explanation and the team, we have any questions, I invite you to use the chat. So at the end, we will check your questions and make some observations as we can, please. Okay. I'm going to talk about our proposal to achieve some of the strategies that we believe could be
Just give us a second. We're going to fix the microphone with Alma.
I hope you can hear me now.
Yeah, so much better. Thank you, Alma.
Oh, thank you. Okay. I'm going to talk about our proposal to achieve some of the strategies that we believe could be of value to your business. And the introduction that we already had from Daniel, it is going to make a lot of sense what we're going to see next. Well, then let's start with a small introduction to what advanced analytics is. Okay, so analytics refers to the skills of technologies, applications, and iterative practices that aim to generate knowledge through research and data exploration to make better business decisions. And for this, we have the classic business intelligence strategies and the advanced strategies, which are focused on more specialized methods of analytics, where we could include the entire part of data science and machine learning. On screen, we're looking at a diagram of how these two strategies are segmented. As of today, many of you might already have the business intelligence part, where through different technologies and tools, you might be achieving a fairly consolidated reporting dashboard strategy, but which ultimately is focused on the historical part of your business. And on the right side of the diagram, we have the disciplines or methods that are involved with the advanced analytics part. We see disciplines like statistics, probability, machine learning, which are a little more specialized, but in the end, they are methods with which we can get a lot of value towards our business. And at a business level, talking about business level, how is it that we could interpret this data? Here we have a table that I'm going to review very general. We have the kind of questions we commonly answer through business intelligence and through advanced analytics. Business intelligence focuses on the past. What happened, when, who, and how many. While in advanced analytics, we analyze historical data in order to analyze the future. That is, what could happen, what will happen, or what is next for a business. So in this part, we could start to apply strategies related to scenarios in which we could begin to make decisions and be able to analyze what could happen with our business or the environment around it. Some of the applications are shown on the screen, and the truth is that there are many applications. But for today's webinar, what we're going to see is an example related to sales. For the sales part, we have some questions that are common for the business intelligence part, such as what products did the customer buy last month? When was the last time they bought? What were last year's sales? Or what are current year sales compared to last year? With advanced analytics, we could start to answer questions such as what products we might recommend to our customers based on their purchasing history. When will customer supplies run out? What is the sales projection if we make 2 store openings, and so on. This will let us see how certain events affect our indicators. Very briefly, this is how we consider and carry out this entire analytical process together with our customers. This is through a process that we call business discovery, where we believe that every company starts with a set of methodologies related to descriptive analytics and business analytics. And that is where the business intelligence part will focus. From there, we could start using methodologies such as predictive analytics to start adding value to our business. This is the process in which we engage as Evo Analytics, regardless of the phase you're in. We can engage with you so we can take this path to operationalizable analytics. Sorry for that. And talking on the data science side, we use a methodology that is known as CRISP-DM, and this stands for Cross-Industry Standard Process for Data Mining. And this has different phases in where, depending on the problem, what we need to do initially is to understand the business and the data related to the business problem. From there, when the problem and the objectives are defined, we have to go to the preparation of the data. This is a phase that involves activities equivalent to what it is done in business intelligence, which is the preparation of the data. Then we generate a modeling based on the hypothesis of the analysis that we're carrying out. And the evaluation from this model or from this hypothesis, where different metrics that we need to evaluate start to appear to validate if our result is actually a result that it satisfies the hypothesis. In the case that it does, you can carry out the implementation or the deployment of the solution. But if not, you can come up with a new hypothesis. Therefore, this type of methodology is usually an iterative process. Okay, so before starting the demo, I would like to make a short introduction related to the problem that we are going to be discussing and how we're going to carry out the analysis. As we already said at the beginning, the proposal is to involve the Qlik Sense part integrated with Python as a tool specifically dedicated to the topic of advanced analytics. We're going to see a brief explanation of what time series are and how we can interpret their behavior. Okay, so time series are historical data that, among other things, are affected based on the passage of time. These characteristics can be analyzed independently through different methods that will allow more efficient visualization of the behavior of the entire series. This means that we will have historical data that will be related to a particular indicator. In this graph, we see an example of how an indicator behaves through the years. In particular, this example has data from 2014 to 2020. And even the historical data with the forecast are shown with different colors. I don't know if you can see it, but the forecast is shown in a green color, and our historical data is shown in gray. Okay, so the definition of the time series refers to the fact that the indicators have three main parts. We have the trend that represents the change from one period to the next and whether the change factor is increasing or decreasing. We have temporality, which represents repetitive behavior that occurs cyclically in a time series. It can be associated with a season of the year or events with which the indicator is involved with. And talking about events, the events represent the influence of special dates or specific events to the indicators. These don't have to be repetitive. It could be an example, opening a new store, or maybe a new campaign for sales. And we have two main methods in which we can search for strategies for your business. The first is the time series analysis. This allows us to study the behavior of the dependent data as a function of time and extract these statistics and characteristics that will be useful, like the patterns we may see or the influence of the passage of time of some months in the indicator. The second method is a time series forecast. And with this, we will have the understanding of these characteristics and historical patterns in your data, in order to be able to make a projection of future periods that will allow us to reduce the level of uncertainty in our business. This is the fundamental part of forecasting methods, and that is that we can have control of where we are and where are we going. When we do not know the future, it generates uncertainty. And to reduce this level of uncertainty, it is quite useful to generate possible scenarios for each of our indicators to know where we could be. With the level of uncertainty reduced, we can make better business decisions. Okay, so let's look at our example for time series. The example is related to bicycle rental. We are assuming that in some city there is a bicycle rental company that has its bicycles available on public roads. So we're going to generate a forecast of the rentals. Our inputs will be the historical data, and we have 5 years of history at the day level. Our output will be to generate the forecast 150 days forward. This will allow the company to plan, for example, its maintenance or restocking, depending on the rental's demand. The projection is going to be a multivariate, what we know as a projection that is influenced by different factors, not only by history. And these factors will be the weather, if it is going to rain, if there are strong winds, if it is sunny, the temperature, and events, and that is holidays. Also, I want to say that the data that we're going to be seeing is the data from a company in Australia. So the events are related to holidays in that country. Let's see how historical data behaves. Although we do not have the detail of the period, we can see that apparently we have no patterns or not a trend. We have a few peaks here and there, but it does not tell us much about how it's behaving. Let's see what we can discover from this data. Our objective is to reduce uncertainty, and what we're going to do this through a forecast using historical data, which will be in the gray region here. And we want to forecast 4 periods forward. As of today, there are companies that follow the strategy where it is assumed that the passage of time does not have that much of influence over data. So what it is done is that if we want to know the value of period X, we simply take the past month, for example, last month, but the truth is that there might be certain dates that had to do with the behavior of the period, which will make our forecast not accurate. We will need to take in consideration the indicators that influence our data to improve our projection. But how can we make sure that the methodology we are following in the model is really understanding the related patterns? Assuming that we already developed a model, well, from the total of our data that we have, we're going to divide them in two parts. The data that we're going to use to analyze and the data that we're going to use to validate the model. The conventional thing is that the data to validate is less than the data to analyze or to train the model. Using this validation data, which is real data, we can see how well our model is understanding the data and projecting it. Here we can highlight the importance of what we were saying. The reality is influenced by factors as dates, labor days, weather, and others. If we want to use the past, we cannot make linear projections that do not capture the real behavior of our business. For example, the real value of the period is 496. And the real value of the forecast period is 917. If we had assumed that the historical data alone would tell us everything, it will not project it accurately. To finish and enter the demo, we have the question of whether we have enough data to understand the pattern of this time series. For this graph, we might say no, because we don't see any pattern or any trend, but in reality, what we were looking at belonged only to the section that is highlighted in green on the screen. We were only using a very small set of data as a reference, less than 50 days, and the entire set is from 2013 through the end of 2017. Here is already evident how certain patterns do exist and are repeated, but still the behavior at day level is quite complex to visualize. Okay, let's enter the demo. Here we have our Qlik application. Okay, before I start, I would like to clarify that the Qlik Sense and Python are running on my laptop. The performance for this application will be affected by this. Okay, well, now we are on the Sense desktop application, and I'm going to open our forecasting by rentals. Okay, first we're going to have a look at the data. In the first graph, we have the rentals. The blue part is what we're going to use for testing, for training the model, and the gray part is what we're going to compare against our forecast. As you can see, we have data from 2013 to 2018. We also have the other factors we were discussing and what we call the exogenous variables, and these are independent of the indicator that we are analyzing, but they will have influence in their behavior. We have our rain graph, or wind graph, or sun graph, and our temperature graph. And here we have all four of them compared to each other. We have a period here. we have an increase in a rain factor during the months of the end of April until September. So we might have an increase or decrease value in our rentals. Oops. Here we can also see, if we compare temperature and rain, we have that these points in the reddish color, it's where we have more rentals, and these points where the bluish color is where we have less rentals. So if we have more rain, we'll have less rentals. If we have less rain and a higher temperature, we will be likely to have more rentals. So we're just seeing how our data is behaving, and we are analyzing if any of these factors are going to be useful for our forecasting. Okay, so let's start the analysis. As I already told you, everything is running in real time, so that's why it's taking its time to show the graphs. We are already making the calculations necessary for the forecast. Okay, so here we have a few indicators and the graph of our historical data and our forecasting data. The bike rentals LY is the total of our rentals in the history. The bike rentals forecast is the total of the part we are projecting from the start of 2018 to the mid of the year. And this value of bike rentals test is the total we have of the real data we're using to compare our forecast. If we open the graph, we can see that our projection is not just adjusting accurately to our data, or remember that our real data is the gray one. Most of it is maintaining a trend in the middle part, but we have a few peaks here that it's not contemplating, mostly all of them. Okay, also we have the variance, and this is indicated how far our forecast is from the real data. So this is our first try to make the forecast, make the predictions for the next month. What can we do to improve this? How can we start? We will need to understand our data better. We have a few of the graphs that may help us to see this. We have a weekly seasonality graph where we can see at a day level how our rentals are behaving. We can see that on Mondays, I'm sorry, this is in Spanish. On Mondays, we have an increased rental rate, and this might be because the people that are using the bicycles are using it for work or for school. And we also have that by the end of the week, the rentals are decreasing, and this could indicate that they do not use it in the weekends. This is what we can see from this graph. So using this analysis, let's see, compare weekdays to weekends. And here to the year of 2017, we may see that weekdays have always a higher value than the weekends. So this confirms what we were saying, that the bicycles may be mostly used for work or for school, for weekday activities, for recreation in the weekend. weekends. Okay, so now, I'm sorry, I forgot. Here, where we have the lower values, and this month it's winter in Australia. So it makes sense that they don't use the bicycle in those months. So with this, we're confirming that we need the other indicators that we were seeing in the previous page. We need these indicators to improve our forecasting. Okay, let's say here we added a functionality that you can choose which indicators you want to use for your forecasting. Let's say we want to use rain and sun for forecasting. And as I am selecting the indicators, the Python part is making the calculations and sending them to Qlik Sense. This is happening in real time. I do not need to close Qlik Sense, then go to Python, and then come back to Qlik Sense. I just need to do a few clicks, and everything is happening in the background. Now we have the calculations ready. And as you can see here, our forecasting is performing a lot better this time. It is considering our peaks that we didn't have before. And this is shown also in the total of our rental forecasting. It has decreased. And this does not mean that we have not improved our performance. Maybe we're considering a higher value where we didn't have to, like in the months of winter or in the weekends. And now that we are including those indicators, the data better. And we also see this with the variance level decreasing, but I think it could be better. And let's use the other two that we were missing, the temperature and the wind. And let's wait for Python to finish the calculations. Remember that I'm running this on my laptop, so that's why it's taking its time. Okay, it's done. Okay, so the first thing we can notice is that the variance has decreased a lot more. We are now in 2.6, and the first time we were over 3.13. And also, our bike rentals total has decreased. But now let's have a look at the data to see how it's fitting. It might be that these peaks here are some extraordinary factors that are affecting the data that we cannot include. It will require a lot of more analyzing the data to enter the data and understand what's happening. But for the rest of it, our forecasting is performing really well. It's adjusting well to the data. And this is happening because we are considering not just the historical part, but the indicators that affect our data. Okay, so it is also important to notice that if we want to increase our forecast periods, let's say we want to forecast the full year or maybe 2 or 3 years, it is going to be less accurate. And this also will depend on the data that is available and its quality. And apart from the variation, in the development part of the project, we have other types of metrics that we use to actually validate how our model is performing. So this is what we wanted to show you, and how can this functionality be available in your business, obviously adapted to your needs. And adaptation is part of the work we do today in data science, and of the product we are representing that we believe could be an excellent first step to be able to get involved in machine learning, forecasting issues, and start to make more value from it. So this is all we got to show you. Let's have a look at our questions. We don't have any questions. So I'm going to return to Daniel to close this. If we don't have
absolutely. Alma, thank you so much for all that information. And one thing is, as a company, if y'all can, you can check us out at evo-analytics.com. You can connect with us on LinkedIn, and we recorded this so that we can actually put it up on our YouTube channel, so you can go find us as well through Evo Analytics on that. And one thing that we can do is we're thinking on showing. I'm thinking we wanted to talk a little bit also about the model, that one that we started earlier. I don't know if one of y'all want to jump on and talk about the COVID-19. So what this does, we created a model with data analytics that lets you see kind of cases here in the U.S. in regards to county and how it's affecting different ones. So I guess they were having some issues with the microphone, but okay, yeah, you can hear me. But didn't want to go over this on the Alma. Is there a way you could put the screen up, the one that you showed earlier with the COVID, so we could talk a little bit about that? Perfect. No, that's awesome. No, this is good. So this is a link that you can actually go, and we'll share it. It's already on LinkedIn if you want to go find Evo Analytics on there, and that's EVO Analytics on LinkedIn, and you can actually click on there and find that link. So, for example, in the U.S., the cases of coronavirus so far, and then what you can do is you click on there, you find your county, and it'll start generating some of the information on there in regards to cases by county, so that you can kind of follow it on there. So it's just a link, and it allows you to have it. So whatever, just go on there. So let's do this. We'll get to any of the questions that you all have through the chat or through email. You can just email us directly. And didn't know if you guys wanted to do like the overview of this. Alma, did you want to jump on here real quick and just talk briefly about this?
Sure. Okay, so if you enter the page, if you scroll down, you're going to see the graph of the total of the counties and states of the cases, and you can choose between cases and deaths, and it will automatically generate the graphs. And if you scroll a little more down, it's going to show you a map with a heat map with the cases, depending on what you're choosing. Right now, because I haven't chosen any state or county, it is showing me everything. But if I go to, let's say, New York, that has the most cases right now, it automatically generates for real cases and the deaths for that county, which is the graph. And this model these predictions, the red ones are our prediction, and this has been done with artificial intelligence. We are using statistics for this. We're using our historical data and some indicators, as we have discussed before, to make the predictions of how and where the cases are going to increase or decrease, depending on the growth rate, on the population of each county. the size of the county. So right now that I have chosen the state above the county, I can go down and see the detailed graph and the map for the specific case. We also have the growth rate in this table, and it is also showing us the top 10 counties with major growth based on our predictions. And with that, we also have the real versus the predicted comparison graphs, so you can make insight of how well the model is performing right now. And that's it. Do you want to see any more, Daniel?
No, hey, thank you so much. We just wanted to let everyone know that this is free. You can go on. The link is already posted right now on the LinkedIn page on Evo Analytics, and it's a great resource. It's free. You can check it out. And like I said, if you guys want to contact us, you can contact us through our website at evo-analytics.com. And we'd be glad to talk with y'all, and looking forward to everything else. So that should be it. So I want to thank everyone for getting on this call and being with us. And we're excited to be doing a few more of these in the near future with different topics. So we encourage you to let others know about it. And we just look to more here in the future, doing more of these with everyone. So again, Alma, Alan, everyone, thank y'all so much, and we appreciate y'all's time. Thank you so much.
I just want to add, we will have this webinar recorded in our YouTube website. You are free to view and to share. Thank you so much. And you can obviously use this kind of techniques and platforms with your own data. So if you will have any question, we can help you with that, and you can be in touch with us through the website. Thank you so much.